Okay, I have a few wins to share. So I have a listing appointment tomorrow. This lady came to me back in April. So no phone number, no address, just email. So I emailed her back and I asked for her address, and she wasn't very polite. But we kept going with her, and then she was on different sorts of automation. She kept responding back to me, and she wanted like a specific number. And now that became me the number. I'm visiting her tomorrow. I'm seeing her tomorrow, and then we're gonna sign the agreement. That's one of them. And for my listings, I run my like a buyer's ad that I don't take it very serious, but I had like 6 good leads out of it. I am handling one of them, and because I don't work with a lot of buyers, I'm just giving them to other agents to just close a deal from me. So that would be a win-win situation. And that actually has helped me to build my own group, like little by little, which is really good. I had a failure too, besides the win. I had a failure that this gentleman came to me last August, and we had a great connection. And somewhere in between, I lost the connection. I stopped following him up because I thought he's not serious. Then 2 weeks ago, he listed with my competitor. So never ever stop following up. Yeah. So besides the win, sometimes there's a failure too.
And you
I
learn
got
from them. Yeah. I mean, following up it can be hard, right? If we don't have the right mechanisms in place, or we forget, because leads come in
yeah.
every week, and then we forget about the weeks from last month or the month before and last year, of course. And those are
That's
the ones
true.
that
And I got super busy with all like my StreetText, my other funnels, and I kind of lost him, which I shouldn't have actually, but I lost him.
Leon says, try till they sell or die.
Right. But with this lady, I did the same thing. I was like, I'm not gonna back out on this lady. So she was like, no, don't ever text me or call me, or because she didn't put her phone number. So what I did basically, I went to truepeople.com and I found her phone number too after she gave me her address. And then I called her and I said, well, if I wanted you to call me, I would have left you with my phone number. So when I don't put my phone number, don't call me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but that's the way I work. And then we had those moments, but then we started like liking each other, and then now she's meeting with me tomorrow, which is
Yeah.
good.
See, there you go. And then I'm sure with your email, you were using video, so she was getting to know you that way too, right?
Oh yes, everything through Bam Bam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big follow up tool for Miriam, and she's always used it quite well. And remember, BombBomb's only effective if you're actually tracking the opens and the watches and making sure it's
yeah,
effectively getting out there. I would be always cautious just to say, hey, I'm gonna throw it in my automations and assume that they're getting it, because a lot of the times they won't be. It'll be landing in folders. So there's some intentionality you have to create both from the automation standpoint and your personal follow up. And once you start learning how to use BombBomb effectively to get those opens in place, it becomes very powerful.
oh yeah, absolutely. And another thing that I have done and was really helpful was that so you know that with the StreetText leads, there are like on the notes, some people say that 1 to 3 months, some people that say that just curious. I have divided them in 2 different groups, and these 2 different groups receives different automations from me. So the ones that are like 1 to 3 months or 6 months from now, they are hot lead. So they are on basically like a weekly automation. The ones that are just curious, I put them on my dialer. So like every 3 months, I call them and I say, hey, what's going on? Some of them just say, no, we're not interested. Some of them just hang up the phone on me. Some of them just tell me that we're ready or we're not ready. But it's a good thing to do that, because even with those just curious ones, there's still leads that I have paid for. So I have lost one 2 weeks ago, but I'm not going to let that happen again.
Thanks for sharing. I know you had a question. Save that question for a little bit longer into the meeting, and we'll go from there. But any questions for Miriam based on that success so far, personally for her? And you can ask her questions: how long she's been with StreetText, and what's her favorite tools, blah blah blah. That's all good stuff, especially for you newbies. Um, or if anyone else has a share, we can keep moving on.
Reminder out of that, though, for what Miriam was saying is, we sit here and we do get busy. We don't think things. I always say, look and see what you got for tools already. The simple touch. And if you're going to send out touch, it comes down to good content. And you don't want to be some generic, just sounding the same like everybody else. I did the winterization the other week, but just something to get out to them once a month. You're not over spamming them, but it's that touch, because out of 10 realtors, 7 gave up real easy. 2 more might do it. That 10th person that stuck around gets the deal. And you're always going to find, when you back to your famous Marx's lowest hanging fruit on the tree, even the fruit up top has to fall down eventually. Gravity's going to do its thing. So I always say, don't go buy a new program. Look and see what you have and make sure that you are getting this stuff out. And it doesn't take anything but the time you invest to get it going, but the reward is obvious.
Well said, Leon. A lot of people don't know this, but there's a new automations workshop that Ira is hosting. And Ira, maybe if you can talk to us about your feedback so far on that automations workshop. That is a perfect place to start right now, especially as we're working into 2022, is to make sure your automations are in place. And really, this is a fun place to start, because with the holidays, you can change those automations up quite easily to be reflective of Thanksgiving and Christmas. And there's some really great examples in the group of people sitting by the Christmas tree, and that automation that shoots off to introduce yourself. That's real, guys. That's the authentic, genuine follow-up you want to have in there. You don't want to be a cookie cutter and on your desk saying a scripted line like everybody else says. You just genuinely want to be you, and anytime you can change it up to reflect the season, it's going to be a helpful thing. Ira, talk us a little bit about the automation.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to keep it really simple, because I think what happens is we get messed up in complexity. But if you want to get somewhere quicker, you got to do fewer things better. It's not really about taking on so many things. I've been keeping the automations class really simple. And what I've been finding out is people need those basics. So for the first little bit, it's going to be basic. And I've been recording some of them so that you can go back and repurpose the content, and just some of that how-tos to get in there and do it. But at the end of the day, your personality needs to be leveraged, and you only have so many. We're knocking on people's doors literally on Facebook. And when that person starts coming in, you want them to start to get to know, like, and trust you. And if you haven't spent any time on your automations, you're wasting your time, because people are they've asked for something of value. Now you have the chance to keep kind of getting into their inbox and creating a relationship while you're busy doing other things. It's that build it once thing, and layer that process over time. And even people like Wendy and stuff, you'll say to her, what is it that you're doing in your automations? And she's like, I'm not sure. It's because she built it so long ago. She's like, I think I do this on this day. But it's because she came to a mastermind, she implemented and layered. And when you start to implement and layer, I always say you'll be surprised at what you can build within a 6-month span. Layering, you're not even going to remember what you put in there. You're just going to know it's starting conversations, it's working. So yeah, come on out, and we're going to keep it pretty simple to start, and we'll grow with it as we go. Licia, you have a hand up. That's you, yeah.
There you go. You just go ahead and unmute yourself there, Alicia. Little unmute button on there in the bottom left of your Zoom meeting, I believe. Yeah, there you go.
No, it was a mistake. I didn't want it was a mistake. I don't want to ask anything.
Okay, no worries.
Ira, Debbie had asked, where are the recordings for the automation class? Where are you keeping those?
YouTube.
I'll drop the one right here in the comments right now.
Great. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, because we put everything back to YouTube for your purposes. Everything. And they should be organized into lists as well these days, I think.
Yeah, and right on your dashboard. So there's helpful resources, and it says recent recordings. It says Mastermind Recordings. If you click that, it's going to take you right to YouTube, to that channel with all that content on there.
I'll actually, since we have updated this a little, I'll quickly share that so people are aware. Some people just forget. Here we go. So, Mastermind Recordings, recent webinars. Is that what you're talking about, Ira? Where's the other one?
Yeah, so Mastermind Recordings is all of our recordings. Recent webinars is stuff that we've done with lab code agents. So we had an awesome session yesterday with Josh, and that'll go up there today or once it gets put in there, but there's tons of different webinars in there. And then the book of class is going to bring your rate to Calendly link with all of the stuff we offer all week long. It's all right there now on your dashboard. Our help center has so much stuff built in there, like support. We see a lot of common questions come across. So what we're trying to do is build those common questions into something you can access whatever time of day you're working on something. So if you click the help center, there's going to be something in there that kind of explains it. And we're constantly updating it with common questions that come through so you can access the information quickly. So all of that has been built into your brand new dashboard under that helpful resources section. So just click away in there and there's lots of content.
Yeah, and I will say, if it's not there, don't forget to use the search feature within the StreetText Insider group. That's one of the most powerful places because, if, for example, if I just type an email signature, the first search that comes up is right now the most relevant and popular one, but there's a little search filter on the left-hand side, both for most recent and posts you've seen. So that is very helpful as you're scrolling down, reading through that particular subject. The one with the most comments is going to be probably the one that you want to start with, or the most relevant. So anything that you could think of search-wise, you'll be able to find an answer.
Hey Marcus, yesterday on Lab Code Agents, you guys had Josh on there and he did a great job. I only got to listen to part of it, but he had mentioned his value propositions a couple of times. Do you guys remember exactly what his value propositions were that he was offering to his leads?
Ira?
I think some of it is some of his cash offer stuff that he does, but we can get him to jump in on that. He wasn't clear. He didn't say exactly what it was on the webinar. So Josh, are you here? Sometimes he's here in the background, but we'll get him to kind of jump on exactly what those are. But I know for some of it is some of it, he does some cash offer stuff with some of his sellers. And he offers some of that information through all of that, but I'm not sure if that was the exact one he was referring to.
Send him a PM maybe in the background and see if he's around. Good stuff. Keep it going, guys. Great momentum. Keep sharing. Any great shares out there?
I just want to say that thanks to Leon, who helped me a couple weeks ago when I was just lost in the mire of all this stuff that's going on. You know, you get a little busy, you get some escrows going, and then all my leads and all my pipeline is just like on hold. So he gave me some good tricks and some good tips with using notes that are on my phone to save, like kind of like an autoresponder that I draft myself. So as soon as a lead comes through or they're active or I see them do something on my home bot, I could shoot them a quick text that's already pre-written. And that's been saving me a ton of time. So appreciate that, Leon. Thank you for the help and the support. And I am not going to give up. So
it's a great tip. Working smarter, not harder. I have my saved notes right here where I just basically Command C, Command V often. So you guys get used to that stuff, especially with iMessage, if you're using your workflow from your computer. And then if you're using BombBomb, get, at least a couple snippets. These are saved responses, canned responses that you use that you can pull up as an email, change up the subject line with that person's name, change up maybe a line or two, and everything else stays the same.
Yeah, you can save a video, like because I do a lot of text video in my notes on my iPhone. I just save a little generic video. Hey, I saw that you reached out or you checked into HomeBot, give me a call, I'm available. And that's just great. I don't have to keep shooting videos over and over and over. So pretty cool.
So cool.
Marcus, so awesome. I mean, that was a big thing that Josh Shanley talked about yesterday as well, which is how do I work smarter, not harder? How do I duplicate my efforts so that I can scale? And that was exactly that's such a good point, Richard. So I don't know if you guys heard this, but Brian Buffini, he did a great interview on Entree Leadership. And I just want to share just like some of the Coles notes real quick with you on that. So he was talking about you really need to do those three things. And it's funny because we're talking about this on LCA too, but for leverage, number one is lead generation. And last week, Wendy was sharing how she dropped off all those pies. And so she dropped off about 50 pies to past clients. And I was like, that's so awesome that she did that. Well, Brian Buffini was sharing that what he did is he would go and he'd buy bouquets of flowers and he would deliver them to people's house personally, even though he had a big team at the time. And he had someone that was working with him who was like, hey, you know, in the US, there's people who provide this service for you. And he was laughing and he was saying, but they didn't get the value. Actually, it's about you meeting the person. It's getting in front of them. It's having that conversation, because the clients that you have, even some that may not be buying or selling for a long, long time, maybe not ever, they're your referral partners. And so a really big value with lead generation is what's the leads that you're generating off of your active clients? What are you doing from your existing book of business? The people that you're working with. And it's such a good reminder. So we have these incredible opportunities every single day. One is our database. The database is everybody that we're generated for leads, but then we also have everybody that we have as past clients, our past spheres. And when you get those two things working for you, all of a sudden now you've got constant leads, because people forget referrals are just leads. It's just leads with a different name. And so the way you can really help to amplify referrals in your business is simply by checking in with your past clients, dropping off a gift, drop off a bouquet, drop off something. It's that simple step. And it doesn't take that much time. It might take a day. You get everybody's name and you just make a big round trip, drop up everybody's stuff. And now you have so many people talking about you, sharing on Facebook. So what Wendy did, which I think really made that strategy so successful, I'm not sure if she's on here, maybe she can share a little bit more, but she got a photo with them, which she could then upload to Facebook. And now she can tag them, they can tag her. And that obviously gets that conversation and explodes it right across Facebook. Genius, right? Genius. So it's like what Brian Buffini was doing with the bouquets, but now put on steroids by putting it on Facebook. And so I really think that's such a simple thing, but it starts with lead generation. And number two, it's systems. Systems is your it's your procedures, it's figuring out, it's the strategies that you do that really have allowed you to be successful. When you document those things, like Miriam, you figured out a way that you know how to follow up with people, call, and you have a strategy that works really well for you. But when you document that strategy, what you've now done is you've taken it from like your genius, you put it on paper, and now it's something that someone else can do. And so now you can go and hire an ISA, you can hire a VA, you can hire somebody, and you can actually buy back your time because you can get them to start to do those things for you as your business gets to that place. So the third thing, big piece of leverage is actually that, which is people. And so but it starts with number one. It always starts with the lead generation. You got to have that pipeline coming in, and it can come from your, you got to build your database, you got to build your clients, and then staying on touch. And it's really that simple. But if you do those three things, the business will just keep growing.
I agree with Jonathan, and this is the perfect time of year to talk to your past clients. So like I just had these made. I don't know where my camera is. It's little candles, my logo on it. Actually one of my clients made them for me. So I'm passing these out next week. And then if you do, like I think Richard said, I didn't know you could save a video in your just on the day before Thanksgiving, and just to everybody, thank you for everything. Thank you for supporting me. Just fast. And then I love the idea of asking them to share once I drop this off on social media. I think that would be great, because it just every time I do this every year, it just goes crazy when I do it.
That's an awesome tip.
I have a question. So where do you order the logos to stick on those stuff, like either pies or candles?
For this, my client made them for me. So I just did the label in Canva and sent it to her of what I wanted. And then she printed it and she made the candles and did the tins and everything for me. And I think I paid $5 a piece. I mean, they're not huge, but they're $5. And then my assistant's going to go help me drop them off next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like Canva is one of those tools that everybody needs to know. We hear it used so often, whether it's for your pictures you're uploading.
I'm a graphic designer in the past.
Yeah.
I've stopped using Adobe Illustrator or InDesign, any of it. Canva's amazing. It's, you pay $100 for the entire year, and it's got templates. It's amazing.
You don't even need to do the $100. I mean,
Right.
I
Yeah,
use it for free, and it's awesome.
Yep. I'm afraid one day they're going to all of a sudden start charging us more because they realize how great it is.
So good. And I know Logan uses it a bunch, and I don't know if Logan's here, but anytime you're running that What's Your Home Really Worth funnel, you should consider trying some, different images in there using Canva, because everybody's so used to it, and it works. And if it works, don't change it. If the map is working, awesome. But if you're in a competitive area, you're trying to change it up a little bit, one of those things you can consider is doing a Canva style image of 2 or 3, 4 images. I've seen it work really well. There's some examples in the insider group that we're sharing, and they're organic and native to your particular market. It's the welcome to signs, it's the landscapes, landmarks, those popular things that people see in that 15-mile radius of yours. So that's a great opportunity. And in your buyer funnels, of course, in your buyer ads, my recommendation is, unless you find a stock photo, like those stock photos that we have are good, but if they don't resonate with you, they don't feel like that's something that you'd actually see in that market, you feel like it's generic, everybody would use that, don't use it. Upload your own image in there, and you can do that within your assets section of your dashboard. So get used to using Canva. Maybe we'll do some sort of tutorial workshop in the future on that.
One other thing real quick, Marcus, you always talk about how disruptive is what Facebook does. Don't send the same thing everybody else is sending. They look at it like another one of those, and because once again, remember, you're not the only one. We're not the only one. Find something that makes a person like, whoa, what the heck, and click. And even if you say, laugh aloud, gotcha. Well, now they got your attention. Just wanted to say, happy Thanksgiving or this or that or whatever, but just don't fall into the same thing. I did a real estate ad one time where I put a Dodge Viper, and I said, the money I save, you might not put you in one of these. And I put the price of what the car payment would be, and I put an asterisk that said insurance dependent upon your driving record. And I said, but it will still, get you a nice one of these. And I put a house, and I had people just sending me stuff laughing like, oh my God, that was so funny. Or I had an upside down house. And like now, especially in this market, say, hey, the house you buy, you don't have to be upside down. But if it's upside down, they look, because everybody's quick to correct your mistake. Then they open and realize it's not a mistake. But you want to change up to get the attention. You want to have something that's going to catch them. It doesn't have to be an hour-long thing, but when you go at it, look what everybody's doing, do something different, because the bottom line is the minute you grab their attention, now you're trying to get the engagement.
I'll double down on that, Leon. I think that's it's very smart what you're saying, and it's absolutely accurate. What we see on a daily basis in terms of what's working, the ad copy, the angle you take, your call to action, that's all very, very, very important to get that click. But to get the click, you got to stop the scroll, period. So if you have the best ad copy and an image that's just boring, basic, and isn't going to stop the scroll, nobody's going to read that ad copy. When was the last time you went scrolling through Facebook reading everybody's posts at first? You don't. You kind of go through and you look for faces and places you recognize. You just look for things that get your attention, and then your eyes go up and read it. So it starts with the appropriate image, or an image that gets people to stop and pay attention. Then you can hit them with the appropriate ad copy. So I think that's incredibly important.
Example I want to show somebody, if I can find it here. Sometimes you make a mistake and it works. So what I mean by that we all know that you're tagged into a 15-mile minimum radius, and one of my clients decided just to go after the area that she really wanted to be on in Facebook, and she set up that ad that way, and it hit the home run, and it happens from time to time. So I'll show you the example here. Her ad she set up zoomed into the particular image of the area that she wanted to be in, which is in Rockford, Illinois. And if you look at that, it's not really a best practice ad, right? It's not like you're not putting the 15-mile image there. She's zoomed into Rockford. But then when I was watching to see how her leads were coming in the beginning, in the first 24 to 40 hours, all those leads were coming from Rockford. So you can land that home run every once in a while. So it's fun. So meaning you can experiment a little bit. Don't experiment. Experiment not too long, but experiment, because if that Facebook algorithm kicks in the beginning and you get a lot of people coming in from the areas that you prefer, you've kind of hit it, right? And it naturally just starts finding more people within that particular area you asked for. So that was kind of cool to see. It was fun to see that you can change it up a little bit. You just got to be willing to see if it doesn't work, pause that and turn it off. Have you noticed anything like that, Logan? Putting Logan on the spot because he's always looking at ads.
Sorry, I didn't even hear what you said. So I'm not gonna lie, I was doing something.
So what I was saying is that this gal set up her ad, zoomed in to a particular area she was really interested in getting leads from, and that particular ad just started getting leads from with that particular area. So it wasn't. I was looking at all the leads and I saw probably 75 to 80% of those leads coming from the area that she asked. She didn't say Rockford on the ad. She just zoomed into Rockford, particularly that place within Illinois. So I was pretty encouraged by that. It was just a random ad she set up and it was working.
Well, the obviously, again, when it comes to image, the people who are going to live within that core, that smaller area, as they're whipping through, they're more likely to find it relevant. They're more likely to stop and say, hey, this is recognizable, this is relevant to me, I'm going to click on this. And again, it's all about the first 500 people that see our ads. So there's two things that can happen when you're hyper local in terms of your imagery. Let's say you're doing 15 miles, and I'll use Kelowna as an example here. Kelowna, where we are, if we drop a 15-mile or 25-kilometer pin drop right in the center of our city, we're going to get two bookend cities. We're going to get Lake Country, and we're also going to get Peachland. Now, median price points on either of those bookends is considerably lower than it is here in Kelowna. Also, the realtors here, when I was selling, I'm not as much of an expert in either of those two areas, and I don't want to drive half an hour in any direction to get less money in an area that I'm less of an expert in. So we would then use an image of Kelowna, the specific area that I think is the pocket that I'm looking for. Now, again, two things can happen. First off, you've now got a larger audience that will not find the image relevant. So there is the opportunity that your ad cost can soar because there's so many people in, let's call them the bookend cities, that are going, that's not an image for me. This isn't going to work. They're going to pass by it. They might mark it as spam. They might be the ones putting in an angry face. They might be commenting negative. So you do have to monitor that very closely. If within your first 24, 48, 72 hours, you're finding the leads that are coming in are from the external areas, that's probably not what you want to do. So you're not the ad that you want to keep running. You're going to want to turn that one off. If your ad costs have soared, okay, that's the one you want to turn off. But that's why you do the 3-ad split test, because we're hoping that one of those 3 ads does hit that main area. And then again, Facebook is like water. It follows the path of least resistance. So if it's finding a lot of clicks and a lot of people are finding high relevancy in the image that you've used, the expectation is more and more and more and more people are going to come from that area. So again, 3-ad split test, do monitor it very closely and make sure that your ad cost isn't soaring. And as long as it's doing what you want it to do, keep that one going. But absolutely, specific imagery can be very effective. Nothing wrong with that at all.
There's one template I'm seeing work. It worked in a competitive market. It's in the templates that says the real estate market has shifted. Was your home's value impacted? Because we know it's shifted. Was your home's value impacted? Click below to learn what your home would sell for in today's market. That's when you can try and upload your own images in, right? And so whether you use the map just like this or any other image, something to consider. Because you always think about the ads that you use relevant to the times we're in right now. The real estate market has shifted. That's true. That's really true. So I think any person who sees that would be like, yeah, it has. I want to know what my market value is right now, what it could sell for. So this is a good time to consider if you're kind of stuck into the what's your home really worth funnel. Maybe do some A/B testing with some of the other funnels. You do look at all those funnels with the idea, okay, they're all ranked in order of the lowest cost leads, starting with your listings. We know that you got to kind of know the functionality of this. Is sometimes the basic fundamentals is, why is it that a listing gives us the most phone numbers per dollar spent? Because everybody wants to see that listing. So, and that's a lead ad. A lead ad is a Facebook lead capture that automatically takes the name, phone number, and email, and they click next and they get what they want. That's why the buyer ad gives you so many leads. But when you're looking at the StreetText dynamic capture, that's where you want to test a little bit of the waters there between what's your home really worth. If someone were to buy your home, would you sell it? Those are actually now back to equal. I'm looking at them and they're almost equal in the testing out there. The equity one, and then the one I just showed you. If you do a little testing within those A/B parameters and split testing, you could find a really solid performance. Or you could just let an ad go forever. And I've seen many people do that. If you're getting great flow, I've seen people spend thousands of dollars and it just continues to work because the relevancy is on there. But you got to also remember, view your ad from time to time. People like it, people comment on it, and if you don't do anything there, it could be a disaster for the ad performance. If you encourage it and you share it, comment with it, or all the likes that are on that particular ad, you should be messaging those persons, every single one of them, because the full name is there on the like. Take a snapshot of your ad, use the Command Shift 4 if you're using a Mac. Say, hey, you clicked on my ad. I just wanted to offer this complimentary service to you. Would you like me to send you over a home value? And then send a personal connection to them, because you already have their name there. They express interest in that like. Does that make sense, guys? Cool. Anybody want to share, or any questions out there? I know you have to. Hey, Belinda.
Yeah. I don't know. My video's all blurry on my side. Is it blurry for you too?
No, it's just a little slow, at least from my angle. But that could be my internet, could be yours. I'm not sure.
Mine shows totally blurry, so I don't even know what I look like on your side. So
you look wonderful.
I wanted to pop in here and say hi. I haven't been connected with you all in so long, and I'm back though. I'm back. I need to connect with Logan because so much has changed. I have no idea about anything. I don't think I know ads aren't running or whatever, but I just wanted to say hello. And even though I hadn't been running ads all year, I closed 5 StreetText sides this year, 2021, from previous years that I had put into HomeBot. My business, I was busy this year, sold 30 or more sides, just doing all kinds of other business, but my love for StreetText lives on.
That's amazing to hear. I think everyone catch that, because Belinda has been with us for a long time, and it's those leads from a year ago or the year before that are transacting now. That's the top.
Oh yeah, it helped not only, those 5 sites that I sold this year definitely were from, gosh, one of them was like from 2018 that I closed this year. And then actually 2 others, a buy and a sell, I could say, they were from my sphere, but they saw my ad and it kept them, in the mindset of, contacting me for, their home values. And of course, when home values were so up, I'm in Orlando, Florida. Everybody, I can't believe how big this group is. When I started in 2018 with you guys, it wasn't this big, but I'm happy to see you guys and happy to see that you're doing well. And I'm always, listening to the things on Facebook, but I just literally, me, I'm not a techie. I'm so not a techie, and literally I have no idea where to begin right now. I looked at my portal. It's all different. You guys have all of this cool stuff. And like I said, I need to, I guess, connect I just need a whole, I need a whole lot. And I decided that, obviously this year I need tax deduction. So I went ahead and paid for all of next year. And then I need to get connected so that I can figure out how to get StreetText up and running again. But just wanted to pop in and say hello, and that I'm still out there.
Great to have you back, Belinda. That's awesome. And it's an encouragement. And guess what? It always does change, but for better. And what you want to kind of think about, Belinda, is in this slower time, November, December, where there's a lot of holidays, we're not going anywhere, and this is the opportunity to really set back and reimagine the process you want to start with. And so what I would recommend is not only meet with Logan, take a look at that Calendly and make a commitment to yourself to try to come to every one of those connections, just so you see all the different ways you can use StreetText as a solution.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thank you for that advice. And that's exactly true. When I signed back on, I don't know, last week or so, I took the time to put my 2021, because there were some trickle leads that came through, in HomeBot and all of that. And then yeah, my next step is definitely to get plugged in, because I mean, at the beginning of the year and the summer, I mean, I was just so busy, I couldn't even come up for air. But I am going to go ahead and, plug into all of that now that I'm slow and I have time to get all of that up and running.
Awesome. Hey guys. Perfect time. I mean, Debbie.
Hi, I missed everybody the last couple of weeks. I just wanted to share, I used a map ad, but I went and it's more cartoonish. And that particular ad, I live down near San Diego and it's almost $20. I mean, it can get really high, but this one came in at about $10. And so I ran 2 of them. And I've been here kind of a long time and have not had the luck I haven't done as well as others, but I did finally get a call last week from a woman that has over $1 million house to sell and another one to replace it in that price range. And we did schedule an appointment, but had to reschedule, but nothing's there yet. But it was like, finally. And I'd been sending her out stuff for about a year. So, I'm going to still hang in there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to make this work if it kills me.
Great to hear, Debbie. I'm glad you found a good ad too. And now, do you use video for your follow-up?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Perfect time to reach out to all those old leads. Especially, I saw 549, I think, in your.
I know. Yeah,
starting from the very bottom, right? This is the perfect time to say, hey, just want to wish you happy Thanksgiving, and something along the lines of, I'm sure the market has shifted, things have changed. I want to give you the opportunity for an updated market value.
So one of the things I was going to say, Debbie, and this doesn't just apply to you, but the thought came because of what you said. You can, when we say keeping it simple, you can go into StreetText, you go into conversations, look and see who's responded to your texts. That's the quickest way of knowing who's not getting texting from you, because it's the emails that are still running, the texts that are not. We take that simple part of the platform for granted. And you can sit down, we always talk about texting Tuesday or whatever day you want to do it. And that's your reach out and engagement point for people to just send that simple text and say, hey, it's Debbie. I just want to check real quick, see how you're doing. Or if you're going to send out the, Thanksgiving theme or Christmas or New Year's. But, if you don't look and see your platform, what's going out, how do you know? And that's the quickest way, because like I said, text messages are opened and responded to 90% quicker. So you could sit down with your phone. I'll sit down with a Mocha and I can look right through that and I can just start blasting stuff out. Or if you have to move them into a different platform, because a lot of things we forget. The leads we've had in here, if they're 9 months old, there might not be getting, or they're not getting anything from you if you don't have them in a different platform. So when you wonder why you're not getting something performing or responding, it's because not of them, it's because you're not sending something out. So, we always say oldest to newest. Go start at the bottom of your list, look and see who's been in there the longest, and you just sit there and see if you're sending them anything.
Yeah.
We always say there's no such thing as a bad lead. At a certain point, they're going to do something. Exactly. But I just say, when you have numbers like that in there, The question you got to ask yourself is how many are getting something? Even if you only say, all right, 20 a day, you'll blast through it in no time. And 20 a day, you're through that list fairly quick over the period of time, but you're not going to get engagement if you're not giving them something to engage to. So I highly encourage you, if you sit there and have things slowing down right now, start going through your StreetText stuff, generate business that you have sitting in there.
Yeah, that's and you know the StreetText automation stops at 9 months unless you add emails in there, and if you're not integrated with something like HomeBot, they're not getting monthly reports. So you got to consider what they're getting, especially from the oldest lead that you have that's still keeping you relevant, newsletters and so forth, or else you won't stay top of mind there.
I've got HomeBot.
Okay, perfect. And so all those 549 leads in there?
Not all of them, because some of them are buyers.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, and then of course, HomeBot is only as good as our ability to make sure that when they are interacting with it, we're following up with them. So you get anybody interact whatsoever with one of those reports, that's the perfect time to send a Thanksgiving video and let them know that you can tune that market value inside of their HomeBot to be more realistic to today's market.
You can put buyers in there. I've been doing that recently, just loading a ton of buyers in there. And it gives me a reason to call them and say, what areas were you interested in? Because they want you to put in a zip code. But I believe you have to be teamed up with the lender in your HomeBot in order to add buyers. So I did that. And, you know, I do see buyers from time to time start to be active in HomeBot, and I'll reach out right away. Like Marcus just said, at least have something, you know, hey, I see that you're poking around or whatever.
Yeah, even shooting videos out, and Jeff had posted something in the group last night where it's saying, as far as the way spam thing works, you know, I sit there, I blast out 2,800 things, but I do stagger mine 200 at a time. And I was doing it by accident, but I learned I did something by accident that was a good thing, because I'm not winding up in everybody's spam filter. But, you know, like I said, even buyers, they're there, their leads, put them in. The big thing about buyers, and up here where I'm at in Washington, buyers are horrible. I've had my ass kicked for the last 2 months trying to get houses for people that are overbidding just like crazy, but you know, it happens. But you also have to remember is buyers could also be sellers. They're not telling you that. So if you're not doing nothing else, go try to look your buyers up in the tax database and find out if they really own something. If they're really a seller in disguise and you're on HomeBot, put them on the seller side of HomeBot, start a drip. And if you don't go look, you don't know.
100%. And if you're not using HomeBot and you're generating seller leads, go sign up to HomeBot or something similar that's available in your area, because it is game changing. It's gonna change the game for your seller leads. So the way you follow up with a buyer lead is that it's somebody that is they're going to be requesting either your listing, or they want to know more information, or they're getting to a property list. That's who a home buyer is. And they're going to be interested in tailoring that list to their specific needs. How do you do that? Well, you got to reach out. You got to start a conversation. You can pick up the phone. You can send them a text message. Start friendly. Josh Shanley said something really important yesterday, which is, how do you follow up with your home seller leads who might be, there's going to be some that are ready today. So how do you find the ones who are ready today without burning the ones, the majority of whom are going to be ready in 3 months? So, because even Josh Zollinger, he was on there, he said, he laughed, he's like, he got a listing on Christmas Eve. And so people are ready every single day of the year. It's how do you get the people who are ready today without burning the people who are ready tomorrow? HomeBot is one of your secret weapons, because what it does, it allows you to stay in touch by giving them high quality value, an update to their home value. You get to go in there, you get to tailor what the home value is today, and it's going to change that value based on how the market is increasing. So if the market increases 5% in a month, the value goes up 5%. If it increases, 5% over a year, it'll go up 5% over a year. So the home value will keep working based on what you've set the value at. So now you are providing this ongoing value. You are the agent. They see you, they see your brand, they see your name with the report that they get every single month. You don't have to do it. You don't have to create anything beyond the work that you initially did. I'm all for that. That's evergreen. That's you working smarter, not harder. And then the key is now exactly what Leon's saying, which is make sure you're sending the emails to get the responses, the inquiries. That is your secret strategy to home seller leads. That is it. Like, you are going to stay in touch with people over the long term, but you're gonna be sending emails and simple questions because you're sending high quality content month after month. And that simple question is going to get you to the conversations and the appointments that you're looking for. And if you tie that into a really simple text, a text follow-up and a few other things, you're looking for something that is responsive, that you're going to help and serve people without making them feel like that you're coming on so strong that they're actually trying to protect themselves from this, from this force that's come in their way. So you want to do it in a way that's really there to help them and help uncover what the problems is. And another thing Josh said is a real simple example. He really does come from this place of helping people. He shared a story how he was helping this one lady. He spoke to her 4 different times, 4 different conversations. And he really didn't even think he was going to get the deal. He was just like, how can I help this person? How can I help this person? How can I help them in this conversation? What do I have that's useful? And after the 4th conversation, she laughed and she said, she's like, Josh, you put me in a difficult position here. There's another agent that I told I was going to be working with, but I actually think we need to work with you. And so that's all of a sudden, he was surprised he got the deal too, because he wasn't expecting it. And yet, even though he wasn't expecting to get it, he was still willing to have the conversation, to provide the value. That is the secret. That's it. It's such basic, but it's so good when the motivation is in the right direction, all of the other results happen. It's the come out there with a place of service and then set up the systems to be working for you so you can work smarter and you're providing that value on an ongoing basis. So if you haven't already, sign up to HomeBot or something similar. What's available? Like there's Cloud CMA, there's a few others out there. There's something available in every market. You just have to find the one for you.
I'll add, I mentioned this yesterday in the webinar we had with Josh, and we end up, just because we're helping a lot of people in trial, I don't know about all the other people here, but I end up on a lot of people's email lists just because I did the trial, I put myself as a lead to show them, I end up on their drip, and like, talk about burning a lead with what you need. Like I was talking specifically about a particular like list I'm on where I've been asked about 6 times now whether I'm ready to list my home in the course of a month. And I just got another text. It's the 4th text in a month, and all of them are about, am I ready to list my home? So it's like, I mean, that's an extreme example, and I love the tenacity. I understand that it's like, okay, I want to do this. Like I want to do real estate. But like nothing that's been sent to me speaks to me about what I want or like where I'm at or adding value to me. And it's like, we so get hyper focused on what our wants and needs are that we forget that value is what we're here to educate people and bring them to an understanding and ease their stress around this. And if there's ever a time where your expertise is needed, it's been these last couple of years where things are so crazy out there. Like people really don't have a good understanding. So if you can earn someone's trust by bringing them to a better understanding of things, you're going to get their business every single time. Like you're going to ease their mind. So it's really just take a look at your messaging and how often are you asking about something that's valuable to you, and how often are you providing something that's of value. And as things slow down as you're going into Christmas, use that time to go back and look at all of your automation. Ask that question. Is this of value? Is this adding purpose to someone? In the meantime, I all heard you talking about Canva. I know somebody who works for Canva and does workshops with Canva. So I reached out to her on Messenger here, and she's willing to do a workshop for us, a live workshop. So I posted that there. She's getting married next week, so she's going to be a little busy, but maybe I can get her in December. But she works for Canva, and I'll set up a workshop just to go through the basics of how you can use that tool and I'll brief her on specific things that would help you with your StreetText stuff as well. Adding value, trying to add value. We heard I'm like, I know somebody that can do that for you. If you want to learn more about Canva, I'll get somebody that works directly for Canva to come and talk to us.
Yeah, I was writing that it's about conversation. It's not about, you know, when you have these leads that come onto your Facebook feed, or they're in their Facebook feed on Instagram. This is interruption-based marketing. This is digital door knocking. We gotta continue to reinforce how they found us and they weren't searching for us. It's a top of funnel. It's not a bottom of funnel. So your expectations have to change. Your mindset has to shift and change from maybe your background with Zillow or Google or any bottom of funnel service where you're, you know, paying for zip codes, exclusivity, all that stuff. These people really, they just clicked on something thinking in that moment they were getting instant gratification. And so if they go back to their inbox or their text or whatever they call from, and that mindset is like, where is it? I didn't get it. You better have something genuine and authentic on the other side that leads with value, that is complimentary, that, you know, has personality in it. It's a humanized aspect of that, you know, that process that really looks to connect. And so conversation is all about conversation. It's all about asking the right questions, all about listening, and then value adding along the way, complimentary, no obligation, free type of words and services that are about consulting. And in your integrations have to reinforce that. Your automations have to reinforce that over time. You don't just leave one video in there and expect that it's going to change it. You know, you want to think about the entire automation sequence. You want to go through and read them out loud to yourself and ask yourself, hey, on day 3, if I read this out loud as a homeowner, would I connect with it? If the answer is no, change it. Day 7, if the answer is no, read it out loud to yourself, change it. Think about the text messages going out. If that feels generic and AI bottish, change it. The entire sequence has to change. Your mindset has to change and shift to, is this reinforcing my personality, who I am? That's what makes you different. And it isn't, everybody's going to be getting leads. You know, I find so many people focus so heavily on their cost per lead and A/B testing and split testing. And every week it's just a new, like, let me do this, let me change this. What about shifting that entire thought process to what is my follow-up feel and look like? Am I proud of it? Does it showcase my personality? Does it come across as being genuine and authentic? And if the answer is no, maybe that's where you need to start and think about for the next few months. Because that's going to be what they're getting a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now. And so spend some time there. Join us in the conversion workshops. Join us in the automation workshops. Get to, you know, ask here in the community what people are doing. There's a lot of great examples.
The other suggestion I would make, because we're all so brilliantly know everything, and I throw myself out there, the digital coffee is a great thing to do. Take what you're thinking, take your thoughts, go bounce it off someone, take it off your friends that aren't realtors. Go find someone that doesn't do what you do. Ask them, hey, look at this. First off, ask would they be interested. If not, ask them, hey, if I was doing something like this, what would you be looking for? Because sometimes, you know, like I said, we get so focused on thinking we know what everybody else wants that we really don't. So go bounce it off the, 3 or 4 different people. Ask them, hey, sometimes I ask people, hey, if you're looking for something online, what do you put in? When I'm looking for keywords for content, this and that, I ask them because they're the ones looking. I'm trying to get them where I want them to go, but I got to know how to get them there. So if I turn around and say, dude, hook me up, I got you. Most times it'll cost me a Heineken or something. I'm good with that. But whether it's coffee, it's whatever, just say, hey, do me a favor, look at this. Tell me what your thoughts are. And so sometimes, like I said, it's not a matter of the person who, it's not a matter of the question. Sometimes in order to get the answer, it's the question that drives you there. So see what their thoughts are. And we say split testing. So if it was 3 or 4 different people, gave you 3 or 4 different answers, run yourself 3 split tests and see what you get for it. But you got to know how they're thinking to get to that point, to know how you're going to drive them there. So once again, it takes but a minute of your time. Call them up, question them, send it, say, do me a favor, help me out. Closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Yes, Leon. And like, okay, yeah, we all are testing things every single day. One thing that I feel like, Brian Buffini shared the story of how he was in this board meeting, and one of the guys, he's sitting in this boardroom meeting, and there's a bunch of people in there, and they're like millionaires and billionaires. And one of the guys got a business, he just says all of a sudden out of nowhere, he says, I just don't feel like I belong. I feel like I'm like nowhere near, and I failed in business. And one of the billionaire guys sitting in the room just starts laughing. And the guy who just shared this is suddenly like, oh, like he's like, is the guy mocking me? Like, but the billionaire's laughing because he's like, everybody in this room has been there. Everybody in this room is like, but not just once, many times. And so then the billionaire shared his stories of his failures and then got everybody in the boardroom to share their own stories. And it's like part of the entrepreneurial journey is actually learning how to test, to get things out there, to try things. And the best way we can do that, the best way we can validate our assumptions is going out into the, like right on the, you know, with our friends, with our community, exactly what Leon's saying. It's like, what do you start with? Like validate those ideas early, test often. And just like a scientist, they don't fall in love with their assumption. They're out there to test their assumption and find out if it's true or not. And then they come up with new assumptions based on the evidence that they're learning. And that's like really, I love Brian Buffini too, Debbie. Like he's got such shared values, I feel like, with our community too. And it's just like, get out there and test things quickly. And the failure, the idea what you're doing is you're basically you're shrinking the failure, so you're accelerating your opportunity to success. You're shrinking the size of the failure, so you're getting to the outcome that you're looking for. And everything is learnable. Everything is trainable. Everything can become a skill that we can develop. And so when we go out there and we test early and we test quickly, just know that that's what we're doing. We're like, even with our ads, like, yeah, we've figured out some like, well, we figured out probably the highest click to contact ratio, you know, possibly in the world, 65% click to contact ratio. Like there's literally nothing in this industry or others that even come close to that. But that started because of testing and testing and testing and testing and testing. We didn't start there. We probably started with like a 10% click to contact ratio. And it was like, oh, well, what word? What if we capitalize that word? What if we lowercase it? What if we like the number of experiments we've done on those ads to get there. But if we had fallen in love with the first ad and then felt like a failure when it failed, we never would have got to where we got today. And so it's just like that constant, like, okay, you know what? It's just, let's put it out there. Let's see how it works. Put it out there. See how it works. Put it out there. We get smarter. And every single day we get smarter. We learn. And business is just how business works. You put out there, you give it a go, you door knock, you make a few phone calls. Oh, that felt funny. Maybe I'll adjust.
Yeah.
Okay, that was too strong. Maybe I'll adjust. Oh, that was too light. Maybe I'll adjust. It really doesn't matter. Like what Miriam started this with, I thought was awesome, which is she's got all these wins, but she lost a customer too. She lost a client. Like somebody went and used her competitor, and she's like, I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to learn from that because I thought he was just curious. I thought he was kicking the tires, but he was real. He was serious. So now I'm going to make sure I'm more proactive. But that is just a part of experimenting. And it makes it fun. It makes it fun because it's like, oh, well, I can learn something today. I can get better today. And it becomes a process.
And my encouragement to everybody in this day and age that we live in is every one of those leads getting to know and like you? Are they getting to know and like you? Because you want that trust, you want that deal, you want that transaction, but a lot of that's because they don't know or like you. And they're not going to trust you with the most important decision of their life. So how have you humanized that process for them? And are you humanizing that process for yourself? Are you taking that extra step to go find them as a real person? You know, or is it just a lead with details? Have you looked and tried to find their social information? Have you tried to connect with them? Have you, scoped out their social and saw their family and what they're liking and what they're connecting to and what groups they're in? And, that's the kind of the idea that you're in this social world now. And if you're not spending time trying to socially connect, a lot of things might be getting lost in translation. And there could be a struggle on the follow-up part of this because it's not humanized. It doesn't feel like a true connection. I think a lot of people sit back and observe sometimes, and they're trying to scope you out and trying to figure out if you're somebody who's genuinely looking to serve and connect, consult, or if you're just like another realtor is trying to sell them something. So that's my encouragement to you is take a look at all your follow-up and ask yourself, is it humanized? Is it connecting? Is it feeling like a sale style follow-up, or is it feeling really like I'm genuinely looking to connect? And are they getting that? Because you'll know. I mean, that's the responses. That's where I know Miriam's had great success with, because when you put your personality there, when you put your videos there, they get to know you. They can feel it. Body language and tonality go so far. I mean, you guys, if you're on this mastermind today and all I was doing is texting, emailing, texting, you would be gone in within the first 60 seconds. It's no different when people are trying to figure you out. There needs to be something unique and different that really connects to them. Leon. Leon, are you there? I thought you were going to say something. Did he just disappear?
I think he left.
Yeah. So any thoughts on that? Like, and anyone, you know, that we can, if you're struggling there, that's what all those workshops are there for. You need some.
I have a technical question, if that's okay.
Yes.
Either you or I was doing a split test, and the best one I left it on. And after 24 hours, I go, wow, you know, I haven't received anything. When I went back in, it said it was disapproved by Facebook, which I found that strange. You know, it's wrong, the three of them.
Yeah, request a review. Sometimes they have a little bug. Request a review on that particular ad. That's been
that one. Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I think Troy, you've been seeing some of that in the last week or two, right?
Got it. Okay, I was wondering if I did something wrong. Okay.
You did nothing wrong. Facebook has been making some changes to the back of like the algorithm, and part of those changes, they've been making a lot of false positives on ads, and so they've been flagging a whole lot of ads that are actually perfectly fine. And so then you have to request a review, and the first time you request a review, it goes to a bot. So not even a person looks at it. It goes through their basically a bot looks at it and just and so sometimes it's 50-50. It'll get it right, it'll get it wrong. And then if it happens to fail, just go on the insider group, no problem, or reach out to us or go to the ad review class. And you can just go to Facebook support, and I've seen it take as little as 5 minutes. I've seen it take as long as a day, but they always get it right eventually.
Yeah, that happened to me before, and I did that, but it's strange because I had the three of them running. So I took two off and left one on, and I go, I'm not getting anything. And when I looked at it 24 hours, it said disapproved.
Yeah, it's Facebook.
It was just weird.
Making mistakes, but they'll get it better. One thing I learned about what's interesting about Facebook is they make mistakes quickly, but then they fix them quickly.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. So I was trying to kind of include my business card on in the text message, the automated text message that goes out like the very first thing to clients. I wasn't able to. Is there a way that we can add a picture into that text box?
Who wants to get that one?
I don't think we can right now. I don't think it's designed to add it. Like you can see the pictures. So if someone texts you photos of their house, you'll be able to see the photos. But I don't think it's designed at the moment to send photos, but we can add that to the feature request.
That would be great, because every time that I send a text, like the very first text, they want to see the information, because I get, who are you? So if I have like a small picture of my e-card, that would be amazing.
Yeah. And also the who are you is a great conversation starter.
Oh yeah, I get that, but then they don't answer. So yeah.
So Miriam's assistant, Julie, she's going to be in touch with you shortly. This is her personal cell phone number. Then you send.
So what I have recently done, I have deleted that Julie name, and I have just a straightforward saying that this is Miriam from Realty One, blah blah blah. So no Julie anymore. I'm just trying.
So do you pass that? Do you try to pass that information on to your cell, or do you just continue using that number?
So I'm continue using that number, and then, well, the problem is that when I'm not, I get the message in my cell phone when I'm not with my computer, then I have to answer through my text message. This is another problem, that now they have like two numbers from me. But in the later conversation, I said, well, this is my office phone number and this is my cell phone number. So.
Okay, so the idea with that is you could potentially set up your automations to kind of set you up
Yes, I
right?
did that for the buyers because with the buyers you get a lot of like buyers lead when you run a buyers lead ad. So I didn't have the time, and some of them just reach out to me like 1 a.m. So I didn't have the time to, you know, call each of them one by one and then see what they want. So what I did basically, I changed the whole like text that was the very first text that they were receiving. So I introduced myself and I put a link about for my listing with that text message, and then they receive that. And then after that, they receive emails, and then they will receive another text. So I kind of did automation so I don't have to call all those buyers. With the seller, I have not done that yet because sellers are more important for me. But that's what I'm doing with buyers.
Awesome. Yeah, experiment there based on your feedback, right? And because that first text and the second text really, but the first text is kind of that first impression text. So I have actually challenged a lot of people, especially with that home value add, to change it from, you know, the IE updates. You know, that just sounds too much like a bot to me. I would make it more your personality. You know,
that's what I did. Because Julie's sentences wasn't very like emotional, so I added something to it.
And text is going to always be misinterpreted, so you can't be perfect with it. It's basically what people come in and read text based on how they're feeling at that moment, and if they're not feeling good, they might just like, doesn't matter what you say. So this is where your tonality and body language are going to become important, and what you can do as a follow-up is take that, send them that video from, you know, because you have the ability from your own personal phone, and of course with the video email. And you could also point back in that first text message to encourage them to go back to their email to meet you, because you know, if you have a video in there, hey, just want to make sure you got the email that I sent you regarding you know, we'll be in touch with you shortly, type of thing.
Yeah, I have done that too. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we're 10 minutes past the hour. Any last minute questions, comments for the community, for us, that we can help you with before we let you go?
I was just going to say regarding what you were just talking about, I added my cell phone into one of the automations. Like I said, hey, here's my cell phone, contact me. Because I just want to get through the BS to, you know, the automations and all that, just to talking to me. You know, I want to get to them. I don't want to, Julie's fired. I don't want any of that crap. I want to be talking to these people. And so I actually put my cell phone in there. And then last night at like 9 o'clock, I got some text, and what I forgot was I'm getting a text from a number. That's all it is. It's their number. It's not their name. You know, in the automation, it captures the contact, the first and last name and all that crap. But when I got my text, I was like, oh crap! Oh, I'm sorry. Who is this? So my bad. So I need to rethink that a little bit.
That is a really good point, Eric. And so what we found when we created, you know, Julie, is that people were starting conversations on like the third or fourth try. So it was taking about 3 to 4, sometimes 5 messages to go out before people were responding. And the challenge, of course, is if you've got 20 people, 30 people in your, you know, that are coming through, how do you send each of those 20 to 30 people 4 to 5 messages to get a response? You know, that's 150 messages you have to remember to send. And so what the nice thing about Julie is that you now have the system working on your behalf. So you've multiplied your time. But the key there is, I think you got to tie it to strategy, just like what you said, which is maybe having like a message at the end or whatever else that just says, here's my number. You know, like, so you're sending out those messages to get the conversation started. But if you haven't got the conversation started by the end, here's my number. So let's just take this, you know, if you have any more questions, here's my number. You can do it direct. Because there's got to be a handoff. Because otherwise what will happen is, like you say, you'll have Julie doing this work. She'll go out there, but then not, you know, it just kind of ends. So you got to have some sort of handoff at the end there. And I think that's a really good point, including your number. Play with it a little bit. And yeah, I'm even thinking, how can we make that better within the StreetText tool itself? But we can definitely do that.
Hey, I got a quick question. So we're getting lots of leads, and I mean, quite a bit, which is obviously what this is all about, which is good. But my question is whether I'm handling everything right, because I'm trying to call these people and I'm getting a lot of, oh no, I had to click on that. I couldn't get out. I'm not interested kind of deal, which is fine. And I'm getting a lot of bad numbers, having to send email. I'm even actually getting some that is the email's not even good. And so obviously I'm gonna have to get rid of those, but you know, we have all getting a big amount of leads. What's the best way to handle taking care of all these? Because right now I'm kind of backed up. I mean, I got a lot of leads, and I just wonder if me trying to call every single one is maybe the wrong way to do things. I'm not sure, and so that's my question, more or less.
Anyone want to take that?
I was waiting to see if one of our members would jump in instead of hearing it from us. But I think one of the things yesterday, you know, Josh talked about it on the webinar yesterday. And it's like you hear all of the good connections, but you don't hear all of the bad numbers, the people that say the same thing to him. That's just part and parcel of this type of lead generation. And it is a numbers game. So at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. But people on Facebook were so used to everything being automated. We're so used to getting immediate gratification. We're so used to saying no first thing out of our mouths. Like, watch yourself. This week, when you go shopping, if you go into any store, if someone walks up to you, even if you need help, you say no. Like, I just automatically say no, not interested. No, not interested. So a lot of people aren't even telling the truth. They're just trying to get you off the phone because they're like, oh, how did I get pulled into the scheme? So it's really about understanding that you're going to get that. And like, if we're going to phone someone, it's just trying to get to value quick. I remember Janky saying that she trained one of her people when they phone and the person says, no, I'm not really interested. I said, oh, that's fine. I just wanted to like retweak it for you. Can I just ask you one question? And then ask them one question, and then great, I'll send that to you right away in an email with it retweaked a little bit. Don't get into like, I want to explain everything to you. I just want to get you the next step in the value and earn your trust over time. The key is like, you just come on board, John. So like, there's such an awesome community of users here. Did my AirPods just turn off? I got the sound in my ear that my AirPods are done. So hopefully you can still hear me. Thumbs up, you can still hear me? Good. Hear you. Yeah, so you come to these masterminds, come to everything we're doing. We have a meeting with you tomorrow to get you on board, like stick close to everybody here. It's so common what you're seeing, and we hear that. So it's not that you're doing anything wrong, and a good problem to have is too many leads. Now we just have to leverage your automations and get you working in there too, so that your automations can take care of some of that. So we typically say that, like when somebody decides that StreetText is for them, we typically encourage you not to jump to run ads. Like, you want to get your process in place first. You want to feel comfortable, especially those first couple messages that go out. You want to have that kind of nailed down and feel comfortable with it, so you're not playing catch up. But you're a hard worker. you're like, let's play catch up. Let's do this. Let's get back on board. So looking forward to helping, and keep coming to these classes because you'll learn a lot.
Yeah, I guess my main thing is I just want to make sure that I'm, you know, the fact that I'm getting kind of backed up, I just want to make sure, am I doing not necessarily the wrong thing, but is it more that I need to depend more on my automation as opposed to trying to call every single person, or just keep on writing it out and keep calling every single person and just do that?
Are you backed
So John,
up? Is it just you? Is it just you? Is it just you?
As far as what?
Like, I mean, are you the only realtor, or are you on a team, or?
Well,
like,
I'm on a team.
wondering why.
I'm on a team, but what with this StreetText, this is just me. And to be honest with you, my wife is kind of dealing with the marketing part of this, luckily for me. So I'm just having to deal with the leads. But there's a lot of leads coming in, and it's just me. It's not for my team. It's just us.
Is it all sellers lead that you get?
No, I mean, we're getting sellers, buyers. Like I said, she's pretty savvy when it comes to that stuff. So she's really tweaking it. And I'm getting lots of leads. I mean, I'm getting lots of leads.
What has
So John, one of the things I'm going to recommend, I was just poking around in your account. You have a lot of ads running. and they're all getting really great performance. So you've got a ton, like a lot of leads coming in. So it's probably more than even the average person could deal with. So what I would consider is looking through some of those and paring down to just a few ads. That way the volume of leads that you're getting and get it down to something that's manageable. I've seen this many times where people get overwhelmed because of the amount of leads that they get when they have a really good performing ad. You know, it's depending on different markets. So you either adjust your budget accordingly. So looking at what your cost per lead is and what your budget is also going to give you an indication of how many leads are going to come in per day. And then also looking at the number of ads that you're running, right? You have a number of quite a few buyer ads all running at the same time. So you don't necessarily need, 4, 5, 6 buyer ads all at the same time, but bring it down to 1 or 2 that have 2 different lists, for instance, because you're capturing, different demographics. But consider that, right? Or reducing the budget on them so that you're getting a little bit less.
Hey, John, how many ads do you have running?
I have to go talk to my marketing team over here. I'm not sure exactly what she's got running, to be honest with you. I'm lucky, like I said, I'm lucky in that aspect that my wife is kind of handling a lot of that, and I'm taking care of the leads. But I can only imagine. I think
Josh,
you got 4 buyers running.
Yeah. And Josh's advice, he commented on your Melissa's post inside the insider group, and his advice was gold, because he said, like, don't go so wide. What you need to do is focus, just as Troy was saying. I always say to people, don't do buyers and sellers when you first start. That's too many people you're trying to learn the process for. Pick like one avenue, master that, get that really down, and then start to widen your scope. So don't run so many different types of ads. Like, pick one, nail down your process, feel comfortable with it. Don't feel like you're like chasing your tail with it. And once you've mastered that, then move on to the next one. So I think I'll help you when we have a call today. We have a call booked today or tomorrow, and we'll look at things and help get your mind around it.
And master the art of getting a reply.
I mean, I have talked to people, and it's been pretty good as far as, calling these leads and everything else. I mean, but like I said, I've also ran into a lot of, I just clicked on it, or, I couldn't get out of it, so I had to click on it kind of deal, and what have you. But I've had some good people that I've talked to. I've even set up some, market analysis for people and everything else. Now, but it's just, I'm getting a lot of leads. Like you said, I probably got too much running.
We'll help you with that.
So I want to hear more from Eric and Miriam on this. All I would say is, on the buy side, you're doing it right. You're following up with people. You're on the sell side, take it slow. On the buy side, go quick. On the sell side, take it slow. That just real simple advice. And I agree with everything everyone said. But Miriam, Eric, curious.
So what I have worked for me with the buyers and sellers, because I get more buyers lead than the sellers, and I try to run like 1 ad at a time, or at like maximum 2 ads at a time, so I can, because I'm a solo agent right now. With the sellers, if I get a phone number, I'll just jump on the phone or jump on the email and just get connected with them like as soon as possible. With the buyers, I spend like 2 hours, like in the whole week, I spend like 2 hours. Like I receive a lot of buyers, and I try to call all of them once. If I don't, then I send them through the automation. That's why I was working on my buyers automation through StreetText, so they get all the information they want immediately. But I'll just give them a call like once. If I can get connected, then I'll get connected and keep continue. If not, then they go through the automation. That has worked for me. So I don't know if it works for other people.
For me, like, honestly, so I started out with a seller ad, and then I added a buyer ad in conjunction with that. And then I turned off my seller ad, and now I wish I hadn't. I mean, I'm getting leads that are buyers and all that, but I was just talking to Brandon about this on the chat. Like, I feel more connected to my leads doing these how much is your home how much is your home worth ads, because I can get in front of them. They can see my personality. I'm able to look into just sort of something that they're invested in, which is their own home. And I feel more of a connection to people doing that stuff. My buyer ad, which is currently running, I'm talking to people either through text or phone call, but I don't know. I just I'm not like, and the reason I switched over was because over like the last 3 weeks or a month, people were saying, "Oh yeah, these buyer ads are great. People are so much more willing to talk and all this stuff." And I was like, "Man, let me try that out." And I think it sucks right now. It's just me. When I say sucks, lead's a lead. I'll take it. But I like the buyer stuff better personally.
So the moral of the story is you're doing everything right, John. Keep on doing it. And make sure you add all your buyer leads to property drips, and make sure you add all your seller leads to HomeBot. Do that and you'll be good to go. And if you find that the volume is too much, your wife may be able to help you by assisting you, making sure that she gets all of those people into those drips. And but either way, it's, yeah, you are start with those conversations. And I think from what Miriam was saying is, if you don't get somebody on the phone quickly on the buy side, get them on the property drip. I know a strategy works really well is like after 2 weeks of receiving those property drips, follow up and ask them, hey, now that you're getting these drips for the last 2 weeks, a lot of people asked me to narrow it down. I'm happy to narrow down this drip for you, so that like the list for you, because you probably are going to be interested in a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom or a specific neighborhood. Let me know what you would like, and I can do that for you on your behalf. And so that's a really good follow-up strategy to the buy side if you haven't got them on a conversation like on day one. And on the sell side, if you get a phone number on the sell, now make sure this is like the home value ads, because just on the technical side, there's 2 kinds of home seller ads out there to run. There's the 12 tips ad, which is a lead ad style. And then there's the conversion ad. If you get a home value, if you get a phone number on the conversion ad, you pick up the phone, you call that person. They are very interested. If you get a phone number on the lead ad, it's probably autofilled. So what you want to do on the lead ad is start with a text message. And on the home value ad, start with a phone call. Because the text message is a softer touch. And if people are putting their phone number in through a lead ad, they're not expecting a phone call. They're expecting a PDF. On the home value side, they're expecting a home value. And so if they put their phone number in, they want that home value. So your strategy has to, you tailor it to the kind of ad you're running, but stay consistent and follow up. And I'm really excited. Just like keep us informed. Like, hey, how many conversations are you getting? Track your conversations every day. How many conversations are turning into appointments? Track your appointments every week. How many appointments are turning into deals? Track your deals every month, and let us know, because it's gonna pan out. If you're doing this work, it's gonna pan out.
And just one more quick question on that is I just lost it. So I went blank.
I got a quick question while you're. Sorry, go ahead. If you're going to think,
go ahead.
I have a quick question. That home value lead, I've used it a few times, and it's good. But I am, Jonathan, getting a lot of people just putting in the address, no phone number, no name. So is there a way to stop that ad from filtering over unless they put a phone number or a name in? Because otherwise I'm going to be doing CMAs and knocking on doors, and I'm thinking 50% of them are going to be, I call them ghosting ads, where someone's just putting in an address to screw around.
If your address ratio is too high, run another split test. You'll get in front of a different audience that has a higher email fulfillment ratio. Like, do another split test, get a different audience that's getting more email addresses.
Yeah.
That's the solution. I got to run to another meeting, but appreciate you guys all. This has been great.
Yeah, and I'll let you go, but I will tell you, Owen, is usually what we see is about 1 in 3 addresses. 1 in 3 addresses leave an email. So if it's not that ratio, double check that. And I feel like 1 in 3 emails give you the whole contact information and phone number as well. So you'll see, 50 to 60% of each click provide the address, and about a third of those addresses provide the email. So take a look at that with your coach, and then we can kind of work scenarios. But don't neglect address onlys. They're not tire kickers. We have so many people who've taken address onlys into appointments. These are just people that didn't want to provide their information because they didn't know where it would go.
Yeah,
So
I'm
nice mailer or note
printing
card.
postcards,
Yeah.
a postcard thing, and if I get an address, myself or my assistant are running over to the address, and I'm just putting them in the mailboxes. So I was just curious how other people were doing it. So that's good. Thanks for that.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Hey, have a great. John, do you have something you want to say?
Just real quick. So on all these leads, are people more apt to respond to these leads through the dashboard, sending text messages and calls that way, or is everybody just doing it through their phone?
Well, so you're not sending. Only automations are going out through the dashboard, and then you can use the Julie component, the AI, within your dashboard to respond. But your personal emails and your personal texting from your phone, personal emails that you're sending back to them would be from your email provider.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was the correct way to be handling it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for attending the Mastermind. If you have any follow-up questions, message your coach. And as always, figure out one thing you can take away today. Just one thing and implement it. That'll make a difference in your business.